formerly known as the Dream Team, according to Logan. So I want to say that right away. That's how we're going to start this podcast. I got Logan Chakowski on the line. I always seem to butcher that name, so hopefully I said it right. And I also got Kevin Walker with me today. So you're going to see the graphics up on the screen, the three of us. Guys, welcome to the chat.
Hello, Donnie, and I'm sorry to interrupt, Kevin. I'm trying to say you actually got my name correct, so kudos to you, Donnie, for saying it right. I hope that you guys are both doing well, and I'm glad to be talking to you guys here in 2021.
Thank you for having me too, Donnie. You also got my last name correct, FYI. And I'm also always a huge honor to be on. I'm happy to be talking about you as well.
So let's start off with this. I think the best way so we don't get tripped up in the podcast is we'll let whatever I say, Logan can respond to then Kevin, and I'll kind of like moderate a little bit of this. So we'll just go in that order, albeit so we, don't mess anything up. So when it comes down to it, let me ask you first, since you guys, Kevin, I saw you not too long ago, but Logan, it's been a while since we've talked in person. So catch us up on each other's lives and what's going on.
So, yeah. Obviously, it's the holidays. Things are crazy everywhere. The holiday season was pretty hectic for me in the family aspect, and I kind of took a break from podcasting. I took a few months off just to focus on family and work, and I've gotten back into it now as you were on my recent podcast where we did the NFL playoffs review and preview. You did mention that you didn't have a very good track record on it, but I am proud to say I went 5-1 the first night. I cannot say that record stood to the end, but I digress. Anyway, pretty much that's what I've been up to, working. I have been catching up on Saved by the Bell. I don't know if you guys saw the new Saved by the Bell series that is on Peacock. I never watched that show, and I don't know why I've never watched that show because I'm watching it now, and it's incredible, and I cannot wait to get to the new series.
Am I going now? Okay.
Yep, go ahead.
So, all right. So, all I can say is that, everything's going good for the most part. Everybody around me is doing well as far as I know, health-wise, so that's all I can ask for there with that. As far as, updates with me, I'm back at Penn State now. It's been online since the start, which was last week, and this is definitely going to be the hardest semester of probably my college career. Not so much the classes are hard, but, the workload and just the dedication that you definitely have to put in there with that. I'm coming to terms with realizing that I'm probably not going to be able to do as many fun things or be as flexible this semester. I'm just going to have to kind of focus on what matters most, and that being school. So I'm happy, and I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to get me in a good groove moving forward. But, besides that, I'm happy to do little things like this and get my mind off of everything and be able to talk to some friends. So.
Guys, I never thought today I'd wake up and think about GameStop or think about the stock market or even think about talking about this stuff like that. And let me just put a disclaimer out there. Neither of the three of us are obviously investors. We don't have anything in common with the stock market. Some of us don't even, like me, I don't know. I'm learning as I go along today because there's so many things that are going on in reality around us. Guys, when it comes to the AMC and GameStop, boy, isn't that just like, it kind of sounds right to go GameStop at this rate. But guys, do you guys know it? Do you guys invest? Do you guys know anything about the stock market prior to what we're about to talk about?
So I can honestly say that other than a freshman year of college financing class where I learned about the stock market, I did not take any of that into my adult years. So I don't know anything about investing or anything, but I have been researching specifically the GameStop thing because I'm an avid video game fan. Essentially what's going on with that, and again, if you guys are familiar with it, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I guess there's something called short selling a company. So essentially that means that people are selling their stocks in GameStop and then waiting until they're at a higher level and then buying more stocks, and then the stock goes up, and it's some weird ads, but essentially, pretty much people are putting GameStop and AMC as businesses that are quote unquote dead, thinking that they're gonna die and be out of business soon, but yet their stock is going up. So I don't know what you can tell us about this, Kevin, but that's pretty much what I got out of it.
Yeah, so I mean, I was gonna ask for an explanation anyway because I'll say what I know so far at least, and I have no idea really how the stock works. I had some classes in high school. There's the fundamentals of investing in high school. I think there was some stuff in even the beginning of college and stuff. I don't understand how it works. I've seen The Wolf of Wall Street and the Wall Street movies with Michael Douglas, and all my experience comes from people rising to the top and failing, but never understanding how they got to where they were. That's my experience with it. So I'm like, when I heard this, I didn't really understand what was going on. Actually, the person that drew my attention to it was, if you guys know Ezio Hilaire, who's still a friend of mine from Holy Family, he had his face put on like Jordan Belfort memes, and just with like the stonks comment underneath and stuff. And I was like, what is he talking about? And then I looked it up, and I saw like some friends in group chats and stuff talking about GameStop and stuff. So I looked it up, and then I was watching the news last night, and it was Sean Hannity who was talking about like he loves when the little guy wins and the big guy loses. And I was like, what is he? They even had someone come on and explain. So short selling, I mean, that's what I was looking up and what I was listening to last night. And from what I gathered from that, it's like, this, like Logan said, they're going into businesses that are almost like essentially failing, and the big Wall Street guys are betting against them because they think they're going to fail. But this Reddit like sub chain group, I don't even know how you explain it. I forget what their name is, but like they, I guess, just post a lot about like their like bets on what's going up, what's going down within the stock market. So I guess a bunch of these like just regular people pumped money into AMC and GameStop, and I don't know, what were you saying, Logan? Like you sell the stocks at a low price, or
something about they posted on Twitter something about how they're not allowing people to sell their stocks unless it's with GameStop and AMC. I don't know particularly. I can look it up quick.
Well, I
was doing some research on it.
I have a proper definition for short sellings and then hedge funds too that I can read if that helps, and that'll probably clarify to the audience. So short selling is a trading strategy that seeks to capitalize on an anticipated decline in the price of security. So they're basically betting on the company to fail. Essentially, a short seller is trying to sell high and buy low. A hedge fund, which is also important in the situation, is a limited partnership of investors. Those are the people that are going to be going bankrupt here within the next few hours. That uses high-risk methods such as investing with borrowed money in hopes of realizing large capital gains. So yes, I'm going to point out, and this was part of I didn't know how far in the story you guys heard. As of a few hours ago, Robinhood, the investing firm, has actually stopped the selling of the AMC, GMC, and GameStop. You can only, has stopped buying, excuse me. It's only stopped the buying of it. You can still sell it back to them, because what happens is in these companies, they sell, obviously they're selling and they want the company to go down. And on top of that, it's not like us. And the best example I can give is, say we both put $10 whatever into the GameStop market as just normal buyers. We can only lose that $10 that we put in. These investors, no matter how far, like if it goes up, they have to pay back. If it goes down, they can gain as much as they need to. So there's like an infinite amount that they can actually lose or gain, which is why people have become billionaires and millionaires over this. And essentially, what's happened is, picture somebody buys 1,000 stock, okay, in one company for $5. Well, if it would go down, companies would make, the hedge funds would make their money back, but now it's gone up about 500% in some cases. So it was ranging around like $500 earlier today. They had to pay $495 to buy it back to these people. And if you have 1,000 stocks of that, that's a lot of money to be lost.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I somewhat grasp it. That makes sense, and everything I've heard so far, everybody talks so fast, it's so confusing. I mean, my mind just doesn't work that way. I don't belong on Wall Street. I mean, as far as any experience that I've had with that, I mean, there's like that the Robinhood app, which I try to get off, and there's no way for me to like. It won't let me delete my account. I wanted to delete my account, so I think I still have one technically, but there's like $8 in there that I didn't even put in. I just like was given that, and then I know there's like I heard something, I think like Acorns, a new one or something. There's a couple other ones that I've looked into and I've heard people talk about, but I don't know enough to actually pump money into it. So I don't know. I don't know if Logan, do you have invested in anything like Robinhood?
I'm the same. I've had friends close to me who, I guess there's like a refer your friend thing with Robinhood where they get like a free stock or something like that. I never actually did it because I'm not familiar with the stock market. I don't want to have my money go to waste, essentially. Yeah. Essentially, it's kind of like betting. I mean, I will gamble here and there, but like not enough like to that extent because I don't have any idea what's going on in the stock market.
Well, I think that's a good thing because I was going to lead into somewhere along the line before we transition to AMC and the movie theater industry. I was going to talk about this. Just goes to show you the most important part, that betting and gambling is bad, and this is a very good scenario of it. This might get political in a sense when I ask this question, but there's also two other reports. They want to ban this group, and I think it's Wall Street Bets. They want to ban them off Reddit right now, but they've already banned them off Discord. So the question is, we just got out of a stage, and it's still happening, but we were in a stage there about a week ago where you saw Twitter ban people, Facebook ban people, Instagram ban people for political reasons. But should we be banning people now because of a stock market issue?
Okay, and I'm going to say this is going to get completely political, so I hope that you guys hear me out when I say this. It's just my opinion. Like, you guys don't have to agree with me, whatever. I think, personally, this goes against our Constitution in a way. Freedom of speech, freedom pretty much to do essentially what we want in a way, but there's still some rules to follow. You guys get where I'm going with that? Like, yeah. I do think this is completely against our Constitution. I do not think they should be banned from Twitter for that reason. And honestly, I don't think the people last week should have been banned from Twitter, but that's a different podcast. So to answer that question, Donnie, no, I don't think we should be banning people from Twitter for investments that they make. It's their money. Overall, they have a right to do with it what they choose. It may not be the smartest thing to do, but they should do what they need to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'll piggyback off of that. It is, again, hypocritical in a sense, and I won't try to get too much into you know, I'll try to stay on the outskirts of the politics with it. But as far as like big tech, which I mean, generally speaking, you know, everybody I think can somewhat agree that, you know, it is in control right now. I was actually told about from a friend or two friends, like Kyle Ewell and Michele Ambrosino, that to watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix. I don't know if you ever saw that, but like very interesting documentary about how tech is just controlling all of us and tracking all of our moves right now. And my mom sent me something the other day on about Facebook, that there's a switch in your settings that Facebook can actually track while you're out of the app, the websites and different things, different apps and things that you're going on to give you like suggestions and stuff when you go on Facebook the next time. So, you know, if depending on what you're looking at another way, I'm sure that's how all apps are wired anyway, but this one I just saw, or what she sent me was just that you could actually turn the setting off. So who knows? They're probably still doing it anyway. But as far as this goes, with you know, Wall Street and everything, I think these people, these big guys, just need to have learned their lesson, understand that, you know, these ordinary people aren't so dumb. They lost, and as far as it goes with like banning, you know, whether it be the app or through social media or on Reddit, things like that, it's so uncalled for. And it's gonna, I don't want to say it's gonna start a revolution because I don't want to incite, quote unquote, any violence. But you know, I feel like these people, whether it be from Wall Street and politics, you know, no matter what, you can't silence them for too long before they start to rebel or uprise. So I think it's only a matter of time before I'm not saying myself or, you know, Logan or you, Donnie, or anybody else is gonna, you know, do it. I'm not saying anyone in particular, but, you know, I think this, you know, overall, our world, I don't know what it's coming to, but I'm guessing 2021 is going to be just as interesting as 2020, and it's not going to be slowing down anytime soon.
Well, the way, and see, this is where I say that I don't think this will get super political, because at the same time, all this is going on, and you see all these high-end celebrities from right, left, whatever you want to say, they're all kind of coming together over this issue. Like it seems like it's something that's actually oddly enough bringing us together to fight a bigger issue, and I find that to be very fascinating in human culture at this very moment.
Yeah, but it's only fair. Like it only looks right to those people. Like if you're, I mean, I understand what you're saying with that they're coming together to fight an issue. If you want to call that unity in a way, go ahead. But like that's not. It's like the whole middle class is I mean, not the whole middle class, but most people that are benefiting off of this thing from yesterday, the GameStop thing. I'm assuming are like middle class people that didn't expect this to happen. So I don't think it's any like. I don't think they're fighting anything, big or grand. They're fighting for themselves. It's not more so like a bipartisan issue here. They're just all for themselves.
I mean, I'm going to argue because there was a story today about a military man that basically was just trying to give the FU to the system. He's like, I spent nearly my whole salary just buying all these GameStop stocks just to hold the line to make the billionaires pay, which I don't really think it's about an individual at this point in time. I mean, it's obviously if you had a GameStop thing before this for $5 and you're looking to sell it right now, I mean, by all means, I mean, it's up over that many, and you had that many stocks. That's benefiting you in the long run. But I think there's actually a bigger picture behind it, and a lot of people have speculated why. But with that being said, it's also happening to AMC, and what I wanted to do was transition over to AMC and talk about how to save theaters and what really to do with the theater industry, because that's something the three of us can actually more agree upon and talk about in essence.
Oh yeah, there's nothing like smelling that freshly made popcorn, going to a theater with your friends, with your family, sitting back, relaxing, enjoying a really good movie. Like there's nothing better than that feeling of a movie theater. Yes, you can get essentially kind of the same feeling at your home, but not really.
It's not. Yeah. No, I completely agree, Logan. It actually just popped up in my memories today that like 3 years ago I was at the theater. I was a picture from there, but I'm not sure if I remember what we saw or not. But it brought back a sad memory. It was at the AMC in Bloomsburg. I am glad that I saw that they got. Aside from the stock thing, it was like a couple days even before that. I think it was like earlier in the week. But didn't they get like $1 billion pumped into them or something?
And that's also why I wanted to talk about this, because it's so upsetting. And see, the whole GameStop thing, I really could care less about, because like that was just like a transition to what the main topic is right now. $1 billion just got pumped into AMC movie theaters, and to have them stop the buying of the stock right now, I mean, that to me is just a slap in the face to the theater industry.
Yeah, I don't really. Is that the reason why they pumped that money? Or is that $1 billion?
No. That $1 billion happened days prior, but the stock was still rising up. And again, all this does help AMC in the end, just like it helps GameStop in the end. But to stop it just because of what's going on, to stop the buying of the stock, so individuals like me, because I was just listening to a podcast 2 days ago about, they're like, listen. And this was a prominent YouTuber that was like, I'm buying as much stock as I possibly can because we're trying to help AMC survive this crisis. And then today the news comes out that they're just stopping the buying of the stocks.
Well, then maybe I want to take back on what I said a couple of minutes ago about how when you said that you disagreed with me about like how I said it's only hurting the upper class. I'm not at an advantage, I'd say, for words, because I don't know too much on the subject. But I guess if it was something that was helping out all these people, and they're coming to fight for fairness in this, and that they revoked people from what is it buying or selling? They revoked people
buying because the investors want you to sell.
Okay, so they want to sell, and the investors can't buy. Or well, not investors, the regular people, I guess, or whatever. So yeah, I want to see. I mean, this is going to get off topic from the stock thing, but I do want to see the movie theater survive. I love going. It was always an experience. Like Logan said, I never got popcorn at the theater. Just they're like very rarely, unless someone.
Just the smell of it. Just the smell of it.
Now walking in is like, yeah, it's different, and like now it's like nostalgic almost in a way. Yeah, it's a different vibe for sure. No. And there is no better feeling than sitting in a theater with the people that like you're closest with, seeing something so grand. Like, I will never forget the Avengers Endgame experience that I had with like 13 friends in IMAX in Dixon City. Like, it was just, we were waiting for it for months. We speculated about different things. We drove like 3 different cars to meet each other there. We got lined up in the theater. Like, everybody just got super quiet when it began, and like the emotions, the clapping, the tears that were all like shared among hundreds of people in one room. It's like it doesn't get better than that. Especially for like a movie lover like me, and I know you guys both are as well. So you know that feeling. But, you know, I miss that for sure, and I hope that whatever happens here with all the stock stuff, you know, obviously you said it's benefiting AMC, so I hope it goes well for them.
Yeah, I do hope it does continue to go well, as it is apparently doing. But yeah, I'm all for people standing up and fighting for the little guy, so to speak, as movie theaters really, you would think, haven't been as popular to many people because of what's going on in the world. And me and Donnie, we talked about, even Kevin, we talked about this on previous episodes of podcasts. We thought that the movie theaters essentially weren't even going to be coming back. So it's just, I'm glad that they are open. They are managing their way around things with the pandemic. And I just hope that this whole stock market issue does not lead to their downfall.
Yeah, I work, I mean, just to say real quick, too, I mean, I work at the College 9 movie theater up here at State College when I'm here at school, and, you know, it was so dead last August and September, obviously, because it was, you know, right in the middle of COVID, and, you know, I was working, you know, 5-hour days whenever I would, and it was just, like, 2 people, 3 people, maybe, like, came in that amount of time. It was just nuts because, you know, months before, earlier in the year, you know, January, February, you know, it's in the middle of winter, you know, people are still coming to see the movies and stuff, so it's crazy to see that. You know, our theater, or I mean, College 9 up here, they're expected to open at the end of February, early March, and I just got an email about that yesterday or the day before, so I'm hoping that goes well, but it just seems like every time you hear about them beginning to open again, you get some notification that they're going to postpone these releases or those releases, and it is frustrating. I understand it, but I think things just need to start getting back to normal, hopefully, and hopefully we can make it back to the movies soon.
Will we ever get back to that point, like you were saying about? Because I had the same experience with Endgame. I was in a packed theater up in Wilkes-Barre. You know, we drove there, we met there, we all went as a group, and you know, when the portals are opening and people are coming out of them, we're screaming, we're cheering. Except for Captain Marvel, that's besides the point. Anyways, so besides all that happening, are we ever going to get back to that normal? Because is it going to be actual normal, like 2018, 2019 normal, or is it going to be like the new normal, 2022 normal?
And, okay, so I'm going to be honest. I don't know that we ever will get to a normal again. I think, and I hate saying this, but I think overall this pandemic has done nothing but hurt movie theaters going forward. Because you've seen how fast these straight to HBO or HBO Max and all these streaming services that allow you to see the movies essentially the day that they release from the comfort of your own home. This platform is just, I think their money is going up to the point where they can continue to do this even after COVID. So if it's that easy now, essentially, I think overall this will end up being the downfall of theaters. But yeah, that's just my take on it.
So I think only time. Oh, sorry.
No, I'll throw one question out there, and then Kevin, I'll let you do your response. Would you guys support, like, because I watched, we always do like a family movie to start the year. So like a few years ago, we went to go see, like, on January 1st, New Year's Day, We Bought a Zoo when it was in theaters. We like to do that, like that family-friendly movie to start the year with the whole family.
Yeah.
And this year we saw A War with Grandpa, but we actually rented it off AMC On Demand. And I'm wondering, you guys, if there was a way, would you guys still support AMC, like as in like an on-demand or streaming service in that essence, to keep that theater at least brand alive? Or would you guys try to venture off to like different areas?
If it could keep the theater alive, then yes, I'd be all for supporting AMC. If that money goes right to the theater aspect of it, then yes, I would support it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, and you know, it might be bad. Like, you know, for people like us, only time will tell, how things actually go. But like as far as the three of us, we love movies, so if they're open, I'm sure our butts will always be in the seats as much as we can possibly make it there, just because we admire and love that. But like Logan was saying, with all these new options to watch things on demand, it is making the theater become like obsolete almost, and it is questionable as to whether or not they will continue to stay open. I mean, for someone like myself, I'll say like I would rather support like a theater like the Berwick Theater, a small town, theater that, literally is run off its town and not like the big conglomerate company. And not to say like, I don't view AMC or like Regal or any of the big ones like as close to my heart as I do like a small hometown movie theater. And, maybe that might sound a little cruel because, as a lover of movies, you're supposed to advocate and support all of these chains and things. But I think no matter what, you might think you're supporting the theater, but in some way, shape, or form, you're most likely paying the distribution companies or the big studio heads. Somehow that money's going to get back to them. I don't think it's really all going to be going to the theaters. I mean, I understand now that like working at a theater that theaters make their money off concessions and things, and that a huge chunk of the ticket sales go straight to the studio heads. So, I did see, like, with a lot of these, like, HBO Max and things like that, like, a lot of companies were mad. Like, I know, I forget what the company, some studio that's also backing, like, the movie Dune. They're with Warner Brothers. I can picture the symbol in my head, but I can't picture what it is. I can't remember what it's called right now.
Are you thinking HBO Max?
What?
Are you thinking HBO Max?
No, well, yeah, I mean, like, Dune is through Warner Brothers and not HBO Max, but I don't know, another company. It doesn't matter, but either way, or Legendary, I think. Legendary, that's the one. They are upset because they like a lot of these people that have their movies being put on streaming services right now. They weren't aware of it until like at least I know for a lot of Warner Brothers people, like they weren't aware of it until like 30 minutes before the announcement was made that they're doing the same day in theaters as like VOD. And I mean for myself, like I would hate to have pump my heart into something thinking like, oh my gosh, it's finally going to be in theaters, like this is what I've been waiting for all my life, and then find out that it's people can watch it at home too. Like I still granted you're getting your movie made, it's being put out there, but I don't know, it would take something away from me, I think. And I mean, even there's people that have directed several movies and are big already, like it's hurting them as well. Like I know Christopher Nolan was someone that was very vocal about it, that he was against all this stuff going on, but someone like myself, like I was saying, with putting these things on demand, it makes them easier to plagiarize and copy and put on all these other websites. And I know I told you guys about them before, but there's like a million websites out there where you can find this stuff in HD the day that it's uploaded. So like, why am I going to drive half an hour out of my way to pay, like, even if a ticket's $6, you buy concessions, you're over $10, you got $10 in gas, $20 right there for one movie trip by yourself or something, when you could just watch it for free at home, especially if it's not like big things, for sure. Like you want to make it to that. Like I know me and my friends are definitely talking about going to see Godzilla versus Kong, but like as far as these small movies go, there's some that I'm okay with just watching online, like when I can find them for free. And I know that sounds really, really bad, but that's just kind of how it is. And I feel like a lot of people, might not talk about that as much, but they do it just as much. So
yeah, I covered the Christopher Nolan thing on the channel a little bit ago. But Kevin, you'd also be very upset too, and you got to look at it not only financially for the box office and the directors, but you also got to look at it for the actors. Because think about, say Harrison Ford when he started in Star Wars, the new Episode 7 when it came out, he was getting about 5-7% of the box office intake. Like that's how his contract was scheduled. You know how much money, like say if you were an actor that like this was going to be like a box office breaking film like Avengers or whatever, and you sign like a back end deal and then it goes straight to streaming and it kind of evades your contract out because like, well, it didn't earn the money in the theaters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, I mean, again, like, I'm sure pretty much most actors are doing A-okay. Like
absolutely.
It's probably not the worst, but I do feel bad for them in a way. But yeah, I would say it's more hurtful for like first timers with this stuff, like first time directors, first time actors, getting their big break, their chance, and then having their dreams kind of just collapse right in front of them with this I'd call it like second tier viewing experience. So yeah, it blows.
Yeah, I can only hope that things get better for those actors, especially those guys who are going into the newer roles, and hope that they can still at least somewhat have a filming of movies, because there have been some movies that have even been canceled because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So,
but
yeah.
This whole thing though is a big step though for independent filmmakers, especially whether it's a YouTube platform, right? Like, am I insane by saying that this could be the actual year of an independent filmmaker? Because I feel like there's so many opportunities now with no content coming out from like the big theaters that we can potentially, like, even my channel could somehow blow up if I put out more films a year.
I think you're absolutely right. You hit the nail right on the head there. Like, it's so easy now, especially with the fact that we're supposed to stay home or at least somewhat in our area. It's very easy to pick up a camera, just sit down and just film something. And then I think all these independent filmmakers, like, their jobs are they're going to get better at them just because the fact that everyone has to stay home. So, like, we've seen Kevin had a couple weeks ago, he had a little short film come out that I really enjoyed. I don't know if you saw it, Donnie.
Yes, I did, and we'll get to that in here in a little bit because I'm going to put Kevin on the spot. But
yeah, like you said, like, independent film, it's their year in 2021, I think, just because of that aspect of everybody has to stay home. It's easy to pick up a camera. You can easily say, okay, like, call your friends or who you've been around. Like, I'm not saying have, like, 20 people come to your house and just start filming, like, people who you've been around with. Because, like Kevin had mentioned before, that he's mainly been around the same people since he's been filming. But he can talk more about that.
Well, I do want to go off, Logan, because I'm happy with what you said, and I'm glad you brought that up too, Donnie, because I don't want to make myself sound like a bad guy or an anti-theater goer or things like that was what I was talking about. But yes, for sure, the independent filmmakers, the little guys, and I feel like we're still with this theme of, like, with the stocks and everything, that, things are turning around for the ordinary people now. And that goes with filmmaking as well, too. And I mean, I think it just grants people more ways to be innovative, creative, get their stuff out there, more recognized now, especially with everybody being, so much online and watching TV and things like that. So, like, if these small, I don't mean to refer to them as small people or small guys or anything like that. I just mean, like, these, people that might not be as recognized as some others, it might be easier for them to get their content out there now. And I mean, especially someone like myself or even you, Donnie, like, it'd be easier, and maybe Logan as well, like, to get the recognition that, we might hope to one day get. It might come a little bit sooner. I mean, it still has to be quality content. Like, it's not saying that, we just pump whatever's out and expect people to watch it. But, I think a lot more people are drawn to these smaller things now, and I've seen what has come of this. So I think that's a lot more attractive to a lot of people. So yeah, I'm glad you brought up that point, because that is a very interesting subject to talk about.
And for Logan's case too, I mean, we could include podcasts. Podcasts are going through the roof right now. I mean, the mainstream media kind of wants to downplay the podcast aspect because a lot more people are listening to podcasts on a daily basis than they are tuning on the TV for the news.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah. Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I don't mean to interrupt. I know we're going in a certain order there, but I brought up Logan there too, and what I said, with his podcast as well, like, you just said about it, that more people are tuning into podcasts and such than the mainstream news, and that is true. I mean, my dad, just to throw in an example, my dad's the mailman, and he listens to podcasts all day long, so that's just a perfect point, and a lot of people are doing it. So.
Oh yeah, whenever I get in my car, whether it's driving to work or if I'm going to the grocery store, whatever, like, I'm always popping on some kind of podcast, either in my car or in headphones when I'm working out or something, like listening to some sort of podcast or whatever. So yeah, I do encourage others who are looking to get into the podcasting realm or the short film realm. Now is the time to do it. Get yourself out there, don't be afraid to shoot for the moon, because you're only going to hit the stars on the way there. So that's kind of a good inspirational quote there. Pretty much, I'm saying just go out there, grab yourself a camera, grab yourself a microphone, start a podcast, just be creative, and I think now is as good a time as any to be there.
Now, I don't want to put down anybody with what I'm about to say, but this is actually going to be, I guess this is going to be more controversial for us because it's probably the first time you're hearing about this. But I had somebody tell me the other day, okay, and this is, you guys know what audiobooks are, obviously, right? You know, you listen to them, somebody's speaking the lines of the book, yada, yada. Anyways,
Yeah.
Somebody told me the other day, they're like, yeah, I read about 2 books a week. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And they're like, yeah, I just pop in the CD and listen. Is that technically reading? Like, okay, so let's have this debate here. Okay, are we all on the same page, or was I the idiot that was like, I don't think so?
No, well, I will say that recently I have been getting more into audiobooks. I don't know if it's my age showing, but I'm getting to the point where I don't know why. Like, I have this sudden urge to sit down and read, and when I can't find a copy of a book, I'm going on whether it be Audible. I do have an Audible account now, Amazon, or going on YouTube and finding audiobooks and just listening to it. But no, I do agree with you, Donnie. That is not reading. That's just simply listening.
I'm still dying at that. That was fun. I guess I wouldn't consider it reading. I mean, I'm trying to think of like an analogy to compare that to. Like, I can't think of a good one, but
I got one. So it's like, for instance, say you're on a high school football team. You've never played football. You're coming into it. Oh, I can play quarterback. You know why? Because I play Madden. That's not quarterback. You're playing a video game. So
that's perfect. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't consider that reading. Technically, like, I guess there's if they're listening, that's listening and reading are 2 different things. But I mean, if they're being informed, they're being informed. So whatever works for them. Like,
listen, I don't know what my face looked like when they said that to me, but I'm sure it was not a pleasant face. It was one of those faces you can make a meme out of, probably. But yeah. So Kevin, I'm gonna put you on the spot with this with your film that you put out. So we're gonna talk about it a little bit. I want you to explain to me, Logan, the audience, how you came up with this, what you did to create this, and was that makeout scene actually legit?
Was the what scene?
Did you guys kiss?
Wait, the kiss?
Yeah. They hugged.
Oh, we hugged.
Oh, I swear it was a kiss. I just swore.
Dude, no, we didn't kiss. No.
Well, that makes me look like an idiot, but I really thought that happened. I was like, oh my goodness, Kevin.
Well,
that'd have been interesting if that would happen.
No, oh my gosh, that would be, because I'm good friends with her brother too. So that would be interesting for sure. But no, I'll explain. So she is one of my best friends, Kristen Dalrymple, and God bless her for putting up with all my crap while shooting. She helped me with Anorak, my first one, and also the beginning of the end, the second one that I shot back home from last year and stuff. And I can't thank her enough. She always is there for me and supporting me, and like I said, always putting up with my dumb jokes and things like that. But it's funny because a lot of people ask me about this. I've heard only good things so far about it. Like, I mean, I haven't, your friends aren't really ever going to tell you anything bad, of course, or like constructive. Everybody's just supporting each other, which I appreciate. I know it wasn't like top quality or anything, but the reason where it started out is actually, like, I am kind of, and I'll admit this, I've been kind of like caught up on a girl for a very long time, and anybody that knows me pretty much knows who she is. Like, that was that scene where we break the car and I kind of go into a monologue almost, trying to act and gain my Oscar recognition. But that was the idea, like, surrounding it at first, was me wanting to address that, and being how Kristen is one of my best friends, that she always calls me out on my crap all the time and tells me what I need to hear. We've brought that conversation up many, many times, and it's it's what a best friend's supposed to do, but it's not always what you want to hear. And so I started writing it. I started writing that scene, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave that in here, but I want this to be a story of Kristen and I, first and foremost. And that's what I felt like it was. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because she's been one of my best friends since, I don't even know how we met. To be honest, I remember her from the YMCA, when I used to go there back in, second, third grade. I don't even know what year it was that I went there, but I remember meeting her and the rest of the Dalrymples there. And as time went on, I was still somehow stayed friends with Matt, her brother, and her. And they've been great friends and people to me, and their family's been great to me throughout the years as well. And so the thing is, her and I always hang out and talk and stuff. And, we got our little inside jokes here and there, like every friend, friend pairing does. But everybody always thinks that we're something more than friends. And so with that, I kind of decided to write something that, I was hoping to show us, how we act around each other. And although it might look like flirting or something like that to other people, to us, it's just literally joking around and picking on one another. And that's the way we see it, at least. I mean, I know it's not that way to everyone else. So and honestly, all of those conversations in there, happened in some variation or another. That was, a lot of it was scripted, yes, the McDonald's stuff. And that was the biggest question that I got was is that real? I guess that's a compliment to, our acting abilities, which I know aren't great.
I literally asked you that. I remember I asked you.
But people ask me, and the only intention that I had with it was just trying to make the dialogue sound real enough, and us, playing it off well enough that it sounded like we were having a real conversation, because that is literally the dumb stuff that we talk about. And literally, right before I wrote that, the whole poop conversation in the beginning with the girls not farting and stuff like that, me and an old friend just talk all the time, and it's so stupid. But I used to have a friend in high school. I don't want to shout him out because I don't know if he still believes in this or not, but he used to say, girls don't poop, and I'd always be like, dude, girls poop. I know you probably don't want that on your podcast, Donnie, but, I still get around with, Kristen now and stuff, and any girl for that matter, when they, fart or say that they do that thing. And I had a poll on my Instagram, months ago, because one girl, I was talking to her, and she sent me she sent me a picture of her on the toilet, a Snapchat, and I was like, damn, girls don't do that. And she literally said, Kevin, everyone poops, and that is the line that I put in there. And yes, it's true, it's obvious. Girls do, in fact, believe it or not, poop. But
I'm just as your story continues, Kevin, I'm here thinking, do I put this version on Spotify or YouTube?
It was a fun, great time, and I'm so thankful she was down to read most of those lines. There were very little things. There were some jokes that we made, while filming, that were probably, that I did end up cutting out, whether I thought they were too over the top, or they just didn't need to be in there. I know there was some cursing in there. I definitely, as soon as I walked through the door when I came home, the one after my mom watched it, she was like, yeah, there was quite a bit of cursing. And I was like, yeah, but, I feel like, that's just, it captured us, and that's what I wanted. And cursing's unnecessary for sure, yes, but, I thought that it showed people us, and I at least, I will be satisfied. I know it's not the best, technically, and I'll just get into that real quick. I am glad, and I know I think Kristen will be glad too, that we'll at least have something as that we'll be able to look back on, that we did that together. I'm thankful to have that. But as far as shooting it went, I got this $5 tool, this clip from, it was a phone mount, but it scratched the heck out of the dashboard of my car behind my steering wheel. I was going to hook it to my steering wheel, but every time I would have turned the wheel, then obviously the phone would have turned too. So I hooked it to the dashboard and then had it wrapped around, and it kept falling off, which was our big problem. And I had a hat underneath it on the dashboard so that the phone wasn't vibrating as much, because obviously as I was driving, the phone was, vibrating as well. And then also, I asked for Christmas for this lavalier mic that we hooked up to the phone and then ran over through the mirror on the passenger side. And it was just literally hanging down by Kristen's face, but it was like out of view the entire time. Thank God. And it captured most of the good audio. Like there were some, if you watch it, you definitely hear the hit parts where we hit bumps and like where the audio's in and out. And you can only do so much with that in post. But I was happy with how we pulled it off. I was going to leave on on a Monday, and we started shooting it Friday night. We only had a couple nights to do it because she was working, I was busy. We did it Friday night, then we couldn't do Saturday night, then we did Sunday night, and I was supposed to leave Monday for school, but she was like, "We'll finish it Monday night, just stay one more night." So because we didn't finish it, and we did. Thankfully, like that Monday night, I came back on Tuesday and was editing it for like 4 or 5 days straight because we just got so much good footage, and I wanted to like. Although I was trying with the outside shots, like me, sticking my hand out the window with the camera and like filming us driving and stuff. A lot of that is or even across the bridge and stuff and under the lights. Like a lot of that stuff. It probably wasn't as clear as I would have liked it to be because I was just literally had my phone attached to a tripod, like holding it out of the window or out of the back of the truck. And I mean, I don't know who's going to be listening to this, but I actually shout out Braden too, Braden Regal. He has a new Ford F-150, and I sat in the bed of the truck as we drove across the bridge, the Nesquepack Bridge there, coming back and forth between Berwick, while I was bundled up in a hat, gloves, scarf, and everything. It was freezing cold out. Kristen was driving my car across the bridge while I was sticking out of the bed of Braden's truck trying to get these shots. And I mean, so like, I tried to get, cool things with it. It wasn't as clear as I would have liked them to be, but it was an attempt, and that's all I can say. So thank you for bringing that up. I'm sorry I rambled on for so long there with that, but I was glad that you gave me a chance to talk about that because it was something that meant a lot to me for sure.
Well, let me chime in, and then Logan, you can finish up with whatever you want to say to Kevin. But let me just say, as a filmmaker, and especially you're going to find this out when you go into college, and like obviously you're still in college, but as you progress through the program, a lot of students start projects and don't finish it. And no matter how it turns out, the fact that you got this done is an award in itself, and actually create something and craft something that is unique to you, that you put your own personal style and all the emotions that go into it. And like, obviously I compare it more to my Fight For Me project, because the Fight For Me project was personal because it was actually for a girl too, when I wrote that script. And it was kind of weird, and I don't know if I've ever talked about this with you guys, but the Fight For Me script was always like, I like when the girl in Fight For Me, her character says, "All I wanted was for you to fight for me." That was me actually talking to a girl, but the genders were kind of flipped in the film, because girls are more like, women are more softly like emotional than what guys are in real life.
Yeah.
So yeah. I felt like it was more the girl should be telling the guy who was a boxer that I just wanted you to fight for me. Like that's all that she wanted. And she didn't care about, like, obviously she wanted him to fulfill his dreams as well. Just like I'd be cheering on for this girl that I was really emotionally attached to. At the same time, it's like I wish that they would have cared a little bit more about me as well. And the fact that you're able to tie in your story with emotion, and it's really like a heartfelt project, it's going to mean a lot more in the end. And really, it doesn't matter what other people think when it comes to those projects, because as long as it cares to you and the people invested in that film is all that matters.
Thank you, Don. Yeah, that means a lot. I appreciate that.
Well, Kevin, all I have to say is that was an Oscar-worthy performance by both of you. I remember texting you right after I saw it. I had to ask you, like, how much of that was actually real and how much of it was actually rehearsed and stuff, because I don't know how you guys did the whole rehearsing aspect. Can you kind of walk us through how that went down? Because how do you even think about, okay, I'm just going to go out at 2 o'clock at night and just drive around the roads aimlessly, just talking about this stuff. So how did that go about, like the whole filming aspect and the whole rehearsal? Because it had to take a little bit for you to rehearse the lines, and you guys didn't mess up, I don't even think at all.
So there were a lot of takes, I will say that for sure. But I sent you guys the script of what was actually written, and then what was like kind of either made up on the spot or as we went on. And it's interesting because thankfully it's wintertime, so as it gets darker out, or sooner, we were able to start shooting at like 5 or 6. So obviously like it took place at like the goal was 3:15. And it was based off the Bozzy song 3:15. That's why I was included the instrumentals of that. That was like the kind of another like hidden message behind that. But I really like that song and what it says. But we would sit in a couple parking lots, whether it was outside of her house or even we sat in the empty Kmart parking lot for like an hour at one point, and I annoyed the heck out of her with it, but I was like, we're gonna keep reading these over and over again. I want you to get this emotion down. This is how I want you to say it. And we just kept doing it over and over and over again, and we would start driving, and we just hit record, and we keep doing it, and there were so many times where we'd laugh and mess up, but then there would be like those small genuine moments where it would be like, that was the one, and we'd take that and it would be great. At least in our eyes it was. And so that's kind of how we did it. And every shot where we're in the car, you see the car moving, like we are driving somewhere around. It was we went through Berwick, Benton, Bloomsburg. Like I literally just started driving. There were points where and I forgot to add this in there. At a point, I wanted to be like a transition point where I'm like, I don't even know where we are, because I forgot to add that in there. Well, that wasn't too important, but that is, I don't know if you guys go on car drives with your friends and things like that, but as far as like me and my best friends go, that's something we always do. And my parents always question that. They're like, you're just wasting gas, put miles on the car. But like, driving around, just having those late night conversations, jamming to music, like that is the best and some of the best nights I have had. Just driving around Berwick and Bloomsburg and things like that, and just the small things that I feel like a lot of people take for granted. I've always appreciated those things. So, like I said, a lot of it was scripted. I'm so thankful that she helped me pull it all off. The biggest thing was the McDonald's. The whole McDonald's thing was all like where we're sitting in the McDonald's parking lot and also the drive-thru. Like that was just us with the camera on rolling, and I am so happy with how that order situation went, because that part where I'm like, we're asked for a pie, they say we're out of pies, and then I'm like asked for cookies, and they say they're out of cookies. Like that has happened so many times, and my friends roast me for that all the time. I always ask for pies and cookies, and so the fact that it happened there, it was just like God lined that up for us. So I'm very glad about that. But yeah, that would be the process behind the rehearsal. It was just.
Listen, whatever income you got coming in for that video, make sure you give it to the guy who was working at McDonald's that night and took your order, because his voice was used in your work, so you got to get.
Yeah. I didn't give credit to him. You're right. Well, I might be getting my Black Eyed Peas, Ed Sheeran, and Bozzy. So who knows? I've only had like 40 views, but we're gonna keep our fingers crossed, because what I used was, and I'll explain this, and hopefully this will be recorded for my lawyer. The Bozzy song was instrumentals from YouTube that I found that I was reading in the comments. They were like, you can use this as long as you put, because it is the song, but it's a cover, and it's an instrumental of it, someone else covering it, and it said in the comments, you can use this, just give credit in your credits. So I took those and put those in there, and then the Black Eyed Peas one, that was on the radio, so I just I was like, let's film this real quick. And the parts where like we're driving and I put it over the two scenes real quick, like I added that music that I Got a Feeling in there for those parts, but where we're driving, that was on the radio. So I was like, oh, God, I don't know if that'll does that count for plagiarism or plagiarism, like copyright, if it was on the radio for the time being. I don't know. We'll find out. And then also there's the Ed Sheeran song that's over like the montage of us me thinking about things with her at the end. That was actually, have you ever seen the movie Yesterday? Like the one that has where the Beatles don't exist? Ed Sheeran, that movie. And there's a song in it called One Life, which I am telling you right now, as soon as his next album releases, which that song's going to be on, you will hear that song on the radio every single day. It'll be like the Perfect or the Thinking Out Loud, or, all of his songs are hits. But I love that song, and it was unreleased, but there was an instrumental online, and people were using it in their videos. So I was like, let's put that in there and see if hopefully I don't get in trouble. So I don't know if any people watch the credits closely, but under I Got a Feeling, I put please don't sue me, this was on the radio. Then underneath the One Life one, I was like, Ed Sheeran, I found this in Yesterday, I ain't worth shit, bro. Please don't sue me. So, I mean, sorry to curse, but that's what I put in there. So hopefully I don't get caught. I mean, I'm at like, I think between 40 and 50 views. So, I should be getting to 1 million anytime soon now. We'll see.
But yeah, I will say the overall the acting was spot on. You could tell the emotion in both of you guys. You can totally see that there is a lot of chemistry there. I will say that I was kind of under the impression, I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for the moment where he's like, all right, the person I can't stop thinking about is you. Like, and then you end up getting with it. I don't know why I was waiting for that to happen. But yeah, you both did an incredible job. My favorite part, both of them, I died laughing, was when the shout-outs to your moms. When she's like, Colleen, it's something about Colleen. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. I'll just talk about that. You mean the part at the end where I'm like, she's probably working on another Sheldon Facebook post?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I always make fun of my mom, all in good spirits, that our cat's named Sheldon, and she's always like, I'm never on Facebook. And then I talk to my friends, and they're like, oh, I saw the new Sheldon Facebook post. And I'm like, yep, they're always on there. So I included that in there. And she told me she laughed at that. So I figured she wouldn't take offense. She usually has no problem with laughing at herself. So I was I was happy to include that in there. And it's funny, too, with her mom, and love her to death. Nothing bad about her either. But we included her in there, too, because that's just always how it is. Like, her mom's usually always worried that she's out late. I mean, every mother usually is. My mom always is too, and so we just try to incorporate that. Like we wanted to just make it feel real, and we used as many real names as possible that we wouldn't offend anybody or make them like anybody that we knew we could use their names of. Like I know Braden and Ben are mentioned, and her friend Lydia, they're all mentioned in there, and we knew we'd get away with that. But, obviously, like, when I talk about the girl that I like and everybody else in there, or even, like, my past girls, I'm sure people can figure out who I'm talking about, but I changed their names for, obviously, reasons, but, yeah. So, thank you guys for those compliments. I appreciate that. It means a lot, so.
The compliments can't be complete till we find out who this girl is. You don't have to say her name, but we got to start a hashtag, Logan. We got to get Kevin this girl. So
I think I know who it is. He may have told me about her at work a couple times. I think it's the same person, but
yeah, I probably have.
No, but do we have a hashtag we can use to put out on the internet just for Kevin?
Hashtag who that?
I don't know what she would think about that. I'm still good friends with her. She's a great person. It was kind of like cathartic to hear it out loud because it's just one of those things that it's probably not gonna. It's not going to work out, but she was someone that's always there for me, always supporting me, and she is. And I said in the movie or in the short film that she's the reason for a lot of the things in my life, and everybody that's in my life is a reason for something. But if it wasn't for her, I might not be where I exactly am right now. So I'm very thankful for that. And if nothing else is to come of that, then the most I could be thankful for is that she got me to where I am.
So has she seen this? Has this person seen this?
Yeah. So, it's funny because she liked the first one. Like I don't know why Instagram does this. Is it okay, Donnie, that I keep talking?
Oh, I don't.
Does she know?
I mean, that's fine. I mean, I think this is all good for the podcast. Keep going. I like it.
Okay, so on Instagram, I don't know, I was always able to post my stuff full, but I never posted anything over 15 minutes before, because I love that Instagram added that new feature where you can, that is great for, like, short films and stuff, that you could post, like, long things over a minute on there. So this was, like, 27, 28 minutes, and it made me, I've seen people's, like, podcasts on Instagram and stuff like that for, like, 40 minutes over an hour before, so I don't know why it gave me problems, but it wouldn't let me post both half, or, like, the whole thing, so I had to split it in half, cut the video in half, and then post two different ones. And the thing is, the audio is like messed up. I heard from some people that the audio like doesn't match up with our mouths in the movie, so that's why I put in the caption and also the link on my bio on Instagram to go to the YouTube and watch it instead, please, if you're going to watch it, because that in YouTube, it's good. But she commented on the first one, the first half, which doesn't have that in it. And she was like, I forget if she said like it was great or she liked it or something like that. And I was like, oh, I screenshotted it and sent it to Kristen because I was waiting. We were waiting for her response actually, and I sent it to Kristen. And Kristen's like, oh, she didn't see it. And I was like, I don't think so. And she's like, you should just send it to her. I was like, I'm not doing that. I want her to like find it on her own. And then the next day, I got a message from her that said, all characters are fictitious, huh? Question mark. And I was like, oh, yep. I texted her back. I was like, I see you made it to part 2. So, you know, I think she liked it. And
so does she know that it's her? Like,
yeah, oh, she knows it. She knows. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, but she's again just a super great person all around. I probably do need to just get my mind off her. I don't mind saying that out loud. Enough people know me enough that everybody knows. But I'll tell you guys off. But I don't want to say her name because I don't know if what she would think about that. But
that's fair.
Yeah, no, I think, like I said, it was cathartic in a way that I just heard it out loud, and I was like, okay, maybe this is like the thing that'll help me get over it all. I don't know. Can I ask you, Donnie? For Fight for Me, or from Fight for Me, like that, like hearing your, writing that and hearing those lines out loud, did that help you at all?
To an extent. I'm actually kind of jealous over your story because the girl that I wrote it for still has no idea that it was about her. So,
no.
So, I mean, that really doesn't matter, but...
you gotta show it to her right now.
Right
now?
now?
My gosh. Send it to her immediately.
Yeah, we'll see. It's like being a dead horse at this rate. It came out 2 years ago, you know what I'm saying? But, no, I mean, the audience reception, I mean, you guys, for Fight for Me, I mean, that's the first time I've ever had somebody cry at one of my films. I knew somebody the night of the premiere was like, crying over this film, and it's not, and I don't want to pick on them because it was emotional for me, but I mean, it was just weird to see somebody else crying over something I created. You know what I'm saying? It's a good weird, but it's also like it's I don't know. I can't explain it.
I cry over all your films, Donnie.
Oh, dude.
No, I'm not trying to make the joke out of that, but yeah, no, I thought that was a very good film, very well told. I mean, I watched it once. I told you when I watched it, I watched all of your films. But I remember that. I remember that line because isn't that when you guys are out by the basketball court, right? Like by the cars. Isn't that when the line is?
Yeah, she says it once there, and then when he meets her again, like the purgatory / like knocked out stage. She says, "Continue to like fight for me" when he comes back to her. But yeah, I mean I don't want to go too deep into that story, but yeah, I am definitely very jealous that at least your girl knows who it's about. And,
well, I will say that it didn't. Like I'm not with her now. It's not like I didn't expect it to be. It was either going to tell me what I wanted to hear or what I needed to hear, and it did in a way. Like it didn't make any hard feelings. Like I didn't think it would, but in a way, like it was just I was able to say everything out loud in one contained space that like I never not that I never had the chance to, but like I was just able to compose my thoughts and write them all and then like memorize it. And not to say that memorized was less important or less meaningful, but it meant more to me that I was able to say it all together at once without missing a beat. And like I practiced that like over and over again to make sure I got that right. And so it meant a lot to me. Obviously, it meant a lot that she saw it. But it gave me an answer I think I needed to hear, and she'll always just be someone that's in my life. I always will have in my corner. I feel no matter what ends up happening. So life's crazy. You never know how it's gonna all turn out. So
and quite frankly, even if she's not always there by your side, even like no matter what, people are the door's always gonna open, the door's always gonna close. So just remember that as you go through life. The thing is, even if you look back on it, she's not a part of your life anymore. At least you can say this helped you with your filmmaking career, or like just take these moments that you get. Like I even had like a conversation where at work, I was like, it took me to go to 3 years of a terrible job at night shift, which God love them, I love the people, I hated the job. But it took me 3 years of night shift to find a place that like I actually enjoyed doing. So if I didn't have that hate for that job, it would never made me look for like college, and never would have made me look for like pursuing my career or finding this job. So, I mean, no matter what stage you're in, and, you know, quite frankly, maybe your future wife is watching this saying, man, I want that dude right there because he knows his emotions.
Yeah, you can only hope. But yeah, again, like we were saying, like it's amazing the small things that lead you to where you're at, and she was one of those things for sure. So, like I said, no matter what, I'm happy.
On a different note, and this goes for both of you, I'm still looking to produce films over here. I got 2 on the way that we're in pre-production about. But if you guys have any scripts or any cool ideas, send them my way. I'm actually looking to produce some films, so leaving you guys like specific. I mean, this second part's for Kevin because I know Kevin wants to actually like create films hands-on.
Yeah.
If you have a project that you want like financed a little bit, I can do that a little bit now this year. I have a feeling. So.
That'd be so cool. And actually, I will reach out to you guys. Obviously, I already, before we got on this call, talked about a podcast that I want to work on, but also too, there are some very, I mean, I'm sure you guys would definitely be down. I mean, it might not be a little bit on tone with your channel, I would say, Donnie, but there are some like films that I want to make that have like subject matter that are kind of, it might be inappropriate, kind of like over the top kind of things, but I definitely want you guys to be parts of them once they come around. So I'm hoping you will join me in that. I'll try to make the perfect roles or parts for you guys, but I definitely want us all to work together. Like I have a lifelong bucket list, and then I have a PSU bucket list. And I don't know if you're not on the PSU. It's the regular life bucket list. But I want to work with like you, Logan, Connor, some other people, like before I go on to like a career or anything like that. Like I want to work with you guys and have something to look back on with you guys. Cause I mean, you know, I'm just starting out, for like, I feel like I am, even though it's been a little bit over, you know, a couple of years now, but, you know, it's always been something filmmaking is something I've been very passionate about, and you guys have both been in my corners at least and supporting me, and we all support each other, and I really, really appreciate that. So I can't wait I remember, Logan actually, like, it was at the Y at some point in time when I was talking about writing a screenplay, and you were like, if you ever need like a sports commentator or someone or something, get me in that. And I was like, all right, I will. So
I'm down for whatever role, really, but that'd be my niche, I should say.
Well, the thing is with, like, I'll just say this real quick too, like with character development, especially with the 315 one, you know, I try to write like with someone in mind. Like that's how I think they sound more real than if I just like don't know the person at all. So, you know, knowing you guys, and I'm knowing enough about both of you, like I feel like it'd be easy to write roles for you guys. That would be perfect. So that's the fun of it. I love it. It's such a release, like just to do this stuff, and it doesn't feel like work. So that's why I want to eventually find a career in it.
Well, if it makes you feel, sorry, Logan, to cut you off. If it makes you feel any better, Kevin, there's a film that we will be starting production on probably within the month or two, and it deals a lot with suicide and depression. So it is darker, but it has a good moral of the story at the end. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with that film either, because there are about 2 words in the film, and I do like to keep this family friendly, at least, you know, this channel. So it'll be interesting to see what I do with that as well. But again, it has a good moral of the story and a good cause, so I might be able to get away with it. But if I don't, maybe we'll just create a new channel and just air a lot of things on there. Also, what I'm looking forward to, and tell me if this is a good idea, and the audience can jump in here too if they're watching this section. There are different platforms and somebody brought this up, like Roku. You guys know what Roku is, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Well, apparently you can, and I need to do more research into this. Maybe I'm misspeaking. There's channels that you can buy on Roku. Like if you get the Roku platform, you can start your own like channel, and people can subscribe like on a monthly basis or whatever for whatever you want to charge.
Really?
Say like $1 or whatever. When I get enough content, if I can get more stuff rolling in the future, maybe a $1 or $2 a month Roku channel for us would be pretty cool.
That would be
But again, I don't know. My problem is I don't think that I have enough content right now to fill it up. Like I don't have a lot of things in the work that I feel would be worth. I know family and friends are going to support me, but the whole point is I want to grow the audience. So I don't know if I have enough to put out for the audience right now.
Well, Logan and I will invest.
Oh, definitely.
We just don't. We don't want to have the same GameStop issue, though.
Well, I'm still waiting for the whole plan that we had before the holidays. You had talked about us coming up and us three sitting down, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that to take place. I think that'd be a really good, especially for your channel. It'd be really good to kind of branch out and do that.
I'm thinking probably like a spring time, because I do want it to get a little bit warmer outside.
Right, obviously.
And also, I want to, and this is something that the audience can jump in about too, especially if you know us where we're at located wise. You guys as well. Shield of Hope does want to partner with an organization, whether it's like a food giveaway, a clothing shelter that we can kind of partner with and cross promote and actually help people that are in need of starvation or food. So if you guys know any local charities, we're also looking to branch out and help them as well.
That's awesome.
So
that is awesome.
I'm always looking for recommendations, because right now we're kind of surfing to see which business, like not businesses, but which charities we want to support right now in this time. And really, obviously, Barstool has kind of kicked it up a notch with what they've been doing, and we feel like we want to jump in and help out with that as well. So, yeah. Also, we also want to continue and for the people that are listening right now on Spotify, which has been an episode that we did previously, we also I feel like I'm just doing a promotion right now. I apologize. But on Spotify, we just released the episode because we're building up that category that we previously had. We did the theater chain where we had the Cinema and Draft House in Hazleton. That episode is now up on Spotify. So it's pretty good that this episode will come out right back to back and talk about the theater chain with AMC and all that stuff going on. But I do have to say, if you guys know anybody at the Berwick Theater, and this is going to sound terrible, but I've been trying to reach out to them for the past few years to get an interview, to talk to them, to see how they're doing. They have never contacted me back. So put pressure on them. Do so. I want an interview, and I want to talk about the current situation and how I can help.
Well, Kristen used to work there, so she probably knows everybody that I can touch with them.
Yeah, I do have a friend who has worked there that may be able to make that happen for you.
Well, I had 2 people reach out to me on Facebook and give me the owner's contact, or like whoever runs it, the manager, owner, whatever. And like that was like, and I emailed again, and I'm just like, I don't have any feedback. I even emailed the Gardens Drive-In down there, down Route 11, and I was like, I can't get these people to come in and talk. I was like, I'm trying to help out. Like, it's like, I love movies and I'm very passionate about films. I want to help out the film industry. It's like, and I kind of feel pushed away at this point. I'm just like, I kind of want to reach out to them. You know what I'm saying? So.
For sure. As we're talking, sorry to interrupt, Kevin. I hit up my friend, and I'm waiting for her to get back from me. I will definitely have them get in touch with you about that.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. That was my venting session. Sorry.
But before we... Oh. Sorry, Kevin.
No, I didn't know if you guys... I didn't know if I missed something. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I wasn't going to say anything.
Before we go on, I want to know... sorry, Donnie, that I'm asking the question now, but what's next for everybody going forward? I mean, Kevin just hit the nail pretty much right on the head with his Oscar-worthy movie short film there. Donnie, I know you have some big things that you mentioned that are coming in the works, and I've got a couple podcasts that are going to happen in the future. But what are you guys most looking forward to this year, especially with like a certain movie or short film you guys have coming up that you're filming that you're excited about that you can tell us about? Kevin, let me start with you.
All right, yeah. I like the change up there with the podcast host questioning.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. But that's a good question. Actually, if you don't mind me just saying real quick too, I talked to you guys about this right beforehand, but the thing I'm looking forward to the most is I'm in a humanities class this semester. I had this idea for a project at the end of 2019 called The Other Side, and I have no problem saying out loud and getting not on too much of politics, but like I'm more conservative, right-leaning Republican, and but I still like to see things from every side and hear people out. So with this podcast that I'm going to be working on called The Other Side, I'm inviting people in from different backgrounds, and most of them are all people that I know, but don't necessarily agree with me on whether it be political, social issues, things like that. And I just, the main rule of the podcast is like no fighting. I just want to have civil conversations with these people about the issues and topics that matter most to them and myself, and just kind of discuss them and hear each other out, and maybe hopefully learn and gain something from one another without it turning into like mainstream news, like you see a bunch of people arguing and fighting all the time. I think it would be something positive, just to try to focus on. And yeah, I mean, I look to be coming out with more information on that soon. But like I said, I would definitely like to have you two on it for sure to discuss some things. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. And Donnie, sorry that I kind of took control of the hosting for you there for a minute. So I hope you don't mind that.
Listen,
but, yeah.
Logan, okay? From one host to another, I think you're the better host. So I really appreciate you taking control there. I have no issue with that.
Well, thank you. But yeah, what's going on in your next? Like, what are you looking forward to most, Donnie, that you got coming out? You can kind of give us a sneak peek at without giving too many details.
Well, what I've been teasing to the audience, and this goes back to last year, we're still working on North Strand. We're switching some things up. That's the Will Mosteller led film, which will actually be like more of a series now. We're switching up the script. So A, we need snow for that. B, we need time, and neither of those seem to be hitting our area anytime soon. So there's that assimilation we teased in the past. So hopefully we're able to complete that short film. We just haven't got around to filming Act 2 of it. So whenever that happens, that'll be at least 2 years in the making. But yeah, the suicide depression film that we talked heavily about last year will come to fruition probably within the next month or two. We'll start filming. Probably will take another 2 months to edit and wrap up. And other than that, I mean, again, we talked about, and I'll leak it right here. I think it'll be a good idea. So Logan is actually going to help me co-host on this, and we're going to do something along the lines of movie trivia and some sports trivia as well coming up here, whether it's on this channel or a separate channel. We haven't really decided yet, but I'm really aiming for this channel. What other stuff do I have? There's a lot of things in the works, but I can't promise anything's going to get done because obviously with COVID, we don't know how the whole scheduling is going to go. I don't know how many people we can have on set. Again, the good thing about being an independent filmmaker is there's no restrictions to me. So I don't got to go by these Hollywood corporations and be like, oh, you have to limit everybody. You have to have everybody masked at a certain distance. I don't have to follow those guidelines because, it's me and I can do what I want, which legally speaking, I guess I can't, but it's for them to find out and catch me, I guess.
Fight the power, Donnie. You go for it.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of different things going on, and I can't really speak. The first thing that the audience will see will probably be a suicide depression film sometime in middle to early of the year.
Sweet. Okay. Cool. I cannot wait for both of those things. As the aforementioned trivia show, I cannot wait to be your co-host on that. I'm going to thank you on air personally, so everybody can hear. Thank you for thinking about me, and I cannot wait to do that in the future.
No problem, bud. And quite frankly, you might go from co-host to main host because I feel like you're going to kill it. I'm just saying, you're going to kill it. So I appreciate that. As all, you've killed all the podcasts, and killing is a good thing, right? I mean, are we in the same terms when I say that? Because,
well, I don't know what the way things have been going on in the world.
Oh, you're right. Let's you have been, I would say nailing, but I don't know if nailing is a good word to use.
Right.
But you have been blowing it out of the water. I guess I don't know. Anyways, you've been excelling in your podcasting industry. Again, you can go check him out at the Logo, the podcast about everything. That's still the name, correct?
For now, it is. Like I said, there is some plans in the future about switching to video, which I'll talk about my end of things, what's going on. So I have been trying for the last year to kind of switch over to the video platforming world. I have been familiar with like Photoshop and Adobe Premiere and stuff like that, not to the extent that I need to be to make this happen. I've been experimenting with those programs as well as Zoom, as well as I've talked to you, Donnie. I've talked to Terrain Myrich, another host who we both met on my other podcast, the host about the politics. He has a great podcast. Check him out. Donnie, I want you two to kind of do a collaboration because I feel like that conversation with you and Terrain would be a very interesting political conversation. But anyway, you can look for that in the future. I don't know when that's going to happen again. It all depends on when life hits you, man. Like, it all depends on what happens there with work. I do have a couple projects coming up. I have one confirmed that should be within the next few weeks with Mikey Hanger. You guys might know him. He's a local wrestler / he's also he cuts hair for a living. He's been all around the world, Australia, you name it. He's cut hair of professional athletes, celebrities. He's pretty much done a lot. And he's a local business owner who's also kind of redeveloped this old church and made it his house. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys followed that.
Yeah.
We're going to get into talking on that on our podcast. And then there's another one. I'm trying to get to, again, I kind of want to stick to, I don't want to stick to one thing because my podcast is about everything, so to speak. But as you guys all know, I'm a diehard wrestling fan. There is another wrestler who recently has had to retire because of a injury. I'm not going to go too far into who it is or what the injury is. I kind of want to take, and I hope that you guys don't think that I'm being like this is wrong to go about it this way. I'm not really going to go on about the injury. I'm going to go more about as like Alex Smith. Like Alex Smith from the Washington football team, who's had a devastating leg injury and has had to come back and almost pretty much lost his leg. Well, this person did actually lose a body part, and I can honestly say that I'd be honored to have them on. We are working on that, getting them on there to talk about his story. It is a very motivational story for anybody, whether you like wrestling, whether you don't, whether it's anything, just a life story in general. So that's what you can look forward to me.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. And I can't wait to look forward to that. And I look forward to all your episodes. And I listen to a lot through Apple Music with you. Are you on different platforms? Are you on Spotify as well? Or
so I use and I talk about this in my intro. I use a platform called Anchor. It's literally one of the easiest ways to do podcasting. It's literally absolutely free. I'm kind of doing like my own promotion for the company right now. But anyway, you go on there and you use the tools you can to edit. You can have multiple callers in at one time. Like I've done one with 5 people at one point. That got a little bit too much because people were interrupted, but it was still fun. But anyway, yes. So what happens is that is then put onto multiple platforms. So there's like 7 or 8 different ones I'm on. The 2 main ones are Spotify, of course, Anchor itself, and Apple Podcasts. But there's one like Stitcher, TuneIn. Like there's other smaller platforms that you can find it on if you look for it. But it's a really cool program that I've been using. But yeah.
I want to point out that me and Logan have been promoting companies and talking about that. Meanwhile, Kevin's stealing music. So, what can you say for yourself, Kevin?
Yeah, I just followed on Spotify, Logan, actually, because I was on Anchor, but I guess I got signed out because that's why I just was looking at it. I was like, I haven't heard one of yours in a little bit now, so I am going to listen to these on Spotify when I get the chance.
Also, I did mention I took a break for a while. Things weren't working in the family aspect. People would call and do podcasts. That's a different story. The business aspect wasn't going well for me. I kind of took a break and picked it back up here at the new year. And guys, I do appreciate all of your support. I do hope that there are more people out there listening. And I do hope to continue that support here in the future. If you guys have any criticism, please, I'm open to them. If you guys feel I need to work on anything, I'm trying to grow as a podcaster. I'm here to help you guys to grow as on your platforms. But anything that you notice in those podcasts while you listen to them, please let me know.
Will do, bud. Will do.
Yeah.
I will give it. We'll go down the line. We'll do Kevin, Logan, and then I'll sign off. Last words. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kevin. I can go real quick, but I'll just say that I think this is, I mean, like I said, I don't have fun on every single one, but I think I've laughed the hardest on this podcast so far. It might have just been that when you were like, That's not reading. I don't know, but I don't know. I've just had a smile on my face the whole hour and a half now, and it does. And I'm looking to see how much time we've been on here for an hour 40 minutes. It doesn't feel like that long. So I love talking to you guys. Again, thank you so much, Donnie, for inviting us on and having us on. And as always, Logan, we work together. I love talking to you too. I can't wait to see what we all do. I hope we all get to work together at some point soon enough, if not down the road, and continue to improve ourselves as we go along. So yes, thank you.
Pretty much to piggyback off of that, Kevin, great stuff you've been doing. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you. Donnie, same with you. I cannot wait till we can finally meet up in person one day, all three of us, and actually sit down and break out a banger of some kind of, whether it be a podcast, a movie, something, some kind of script, something like that. I do thank you for your support on the podcast, and I cannot wait till we can get to be together in 2021.
Awesome. And I want to thank you guys as well for all that you guys have done for me for the channel, as well as what I can do for you guys, and vice versa, mixing up and collaborating. We should try to do this more often. Maybe if we can do a weekly podcast between just the three of us, call it the Dream Team, like Logan emphasized in the text messages earlier. We'll have to come up with an official title. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for joining me, and thank you all for listening as well. This is Hope Speaks on the Shoot of Hope channel. Take care, everybody.